This is The Fox's Prophecy by D.W. Nash. Tom Hill was in the saddle one bright November morn. The echoing glades of Giting Wood were ringing with his horn. The varied tints of autumn still lingered in the wood, and on the leaves the morning sun poured out a golden flood. Soft fleecy clouds were sailing across the vault of blue, a fairer hunting morning no huntsman ever knew. All nature seemed rejoicing that glorious morn to see. All seemed to breathe a fresher life, beast, insect, bird, and tree. But sound and sight of beauty fell dull on eye and ear. The huntsman's heart was heavy, his brow oppressed with care. High in the stirrups raised he stood, and long he gazed around, and breathlessly and anxiously he listened for a sound. No voice of hound, no sound of horn, the woods around were mute, as though the earth had swallowed up his comrades man and brute. He thought, I must essay to find my hounds at any cost. A huntsman who has lost his hounds is but a huntsman lost. Then round he turned his horse's head, and shook his bridle free, when he was struck by an aged fox that sat beneath a tree. He raised his eyes in glad surprise, that huntsman keen and bold, but there was in that fox's look that made his blood run cold. He raised his hand to touch his horn and shout a tally-ho, but mastered by that fox's eye, his lips refused to blow. For he was grim and gaunt of limb, with aged all silver o'er. He might have been an Arctic fox escaped from Greenland's shore, but age his vigour had not tamed, nor dimmed his sparkling eye, which shone with an unearthly fire, a fire could never die. And thus the huntsman he addressed, in tones distinct and clear, who heard as they who in a dream the fairies' music hear. Huntsman, he said, a sudden thrill through all the listener ran, to hear a creature of the wood speak like a Christian man. Last of my race, to me 'tis given the future to unfold, to speak the words which never yet spake fox of mortal mould. Then print my words upon your heart, and stamp them on your brain, that you and others may impart my prophecy again. Strong life is yours in manhood's prime, your cheek with heat is red. Time has not laid a finger yet in earnest on your head. But ere your limbs are bent with age, and ere your locks are grey, the sport that you have loved so well shall long have passed away. Yet think not, huntsman, I rejoice to see the end so near, nor think the sound of horn and hound to me a sound of fear. In my strong youth, which numbers now full many a winter back, how scornfully I shook my brush before the Berkeley pack. Then think not that I speak in fear, or prophesy in hate. Too well I know the doom reserved for all my tribe by fate. Too well I know by wisdom taught the existence of my race, o'er all wide England's green domain is bound up with the chase. Better in early youth and strength the race for life to run, than poisoned like a noxious rat, or slain by felon gun. For not upon these hills alone the doom of sport shall fall. O'er the broad face of England creeps the shadow of the wall. The years roll on, old manners change, old customs lost their sway. The manly blood of England in the weaker veins shall run. The Fursey down, the moorland heath, the steam plough shall invade. Nor park nor manor shall escape, common, not forest glade. Degenerate sons of manlier sires to lower joys shall fall. The faithless law of Germany, the gilded voice of Gaul. The sports of their forefathers to baser tastes shall yield. The vices of the town displace the pleasures of the field. For swiftly o'er the level shore the waves of progress ride. The ancient landmarks, one by one, shall sink beneath the tide. time-honoured creeds and ancient faith, the altar and the crown, lordship's hereditary right before that tide go down. Base churls shall mock the mighty names writ on the roll of time. Religion shall be held a jest, and loyalty a crime. No word of prayer, no hymn of praise sound in the village school. The people's education, utilitarians rule. The peasants to their daily tasks in surly silence fall. No kindly hospitalities in farmhouse or in hall. No harvest feast, no Christmas tide shall farm or manor hold. Science alone can give plenty, the only God is gold. The homes where love and peace should dwell, fierce politics shall vex, and unsexed woman strive to prove herself the coarser sex. Mechanics in their workshops affairs of state decide. Honour and truth, old-fashioned words, the noisy mob deride. The statesmen that should rule the realm coarse demagogues displace. The glory of 1,000 years shall end in foul disgrace. The honour of old England, cotton shall buy and sell, and hardware manufacturers cry, peace, lo, all is well. Trade shall be held the only God and gain the sole device. The statesman's aim shall be peace, and peace at any price. Her army and her navy Britain shall cast aside. Soldiers and ships are costly things, defence and empty pride. The Germans and the Muscovites shall rule the narrow seas. Old England's flag shall cease to float in triumph in the breeze. Taught wisdom by disaster, England shall learn to know that trade is not the only gain heaven gives to man below. The greed for gold departed, the golden calf cast down, old England's sun again shall rise, the altar and the crown. Rejoicing seas shall welcome their mistress once again. Again in hall and homestead shall joy and peace be seen, and smiling children raise again the maypole on the green. Again the hospitable board shall groan with Christmas cheer, and mutual service bond again the peasant and the peer. Again the smiling hedgerow shall field from field divide, again among the woodlands the scarlet troop shall ride. Again it seemed that aged fox more prophecies would say, when sudden came upon the wind, hark, Farrard, gone away. The listener started from his trance, he sat there all alone. That well-known cry had burst the spell, the aged fox was gone. The huntsman turned, he spurred his steed, and to the cry he sped, and when he thought upon that fox, said naught but shook his head.